This playthrough is rated M for mature.
Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare back here with another episode of AI, the Somnium Files, and, well, folks, it looks like just everything's gone to crap for Date. One, he sees that maybe he has ties to the Cyclops killings, if not in, not actually doing it, but some way, because of what he saw in the Somnium. And now 4 people are dead, and it's not looking good, and our clues are pretty minimum. Man, it's almost like we're just going to be... The whole thing has just gone to shit, you know. Might as well just pack our bags and go home. But no, we can't do that. We got to solve the crime. Just even if everyone we've known has died. So who else has got to die? Who knows, man? Let's go to the cold storage warehouse and see. Maybe there's some clues we missed, you know, with Oda and the polar bear and everything like that. Now, obviously, since this is a different playthrough from the previous path, we can't assume that's so Sejima, despite the fact we know otherwise. But I stepped into the cold storage warehouse. The air conditioning wasn't running, but it was still cold. The temperature hadn't raised much at all. The cold air sunk into my skin, but the center of my body was burning hot. Yeah, we gotta find this guy or gal, who's ever doing it. You'll rue the day! Anyway, let's look around. Nope. Oh, sorry, any progress? Sorry, that's what he said. Any progress in the investigation?
I checked this place point by point, but didn't find nothing.
Didn't find nothing. Nothing, honey. I wonder if, since we're in a serious moment, I wonder if we're not going to really have much commentary on the...
This forklift is old. It does not appear to be functional. It has not been moved in some time.
At least not in this pathway, anyway. The tire and floor are covered with ice. Ice.
A video camera and laptop. This is what the criminal used to stream. ... All of these items have been bought from pawn shops and thrift stores. It would be difficult to determine a suspect from them.
And with, like I mentioned before, probably Cash. You know, my best friends call me Cash.
I have logged into the Wi-Fi in this warehouse. Okiura Fishery Co., Ltd. is listed as the owner. However, I found the password written directly on the router. Anyone who saw it could have used it.
Yeah, I know a lot of routers that if you buy them like right out of the box, they have the password like either right above the serial number, at least the original one, or like the serial code or whatever, or they have it like on a sticky, like they use like a type of sticker on it that gives you the password as well. So yeah.
I have done some research. As the name suggests, the company is owned by the Okiuras, the same Okiuras we know. Renju's father created the company.
Another connection to Renju.
No, actually. Currently, Okiura Fishery has nothing to do with Renju. The company has been managed by office representatives for the past 17 years after Renju's father died. Renju holds no shares and is not involved in the management. In short, Renju did not inherit the company from his father, and it was instead given to other persons.
But it can't be a coincidence.
It certainly is suspicious.
Everything's suspicious. Okay, nothing. They got a lot of commentary from that's for sure. Iris and Oda's blood. That's from Blood Saint A. Workbench.
Right here. Iris and Ota were.
I am sure you are already aware of Ota's time of death.
Just before I arrived. About 3:30 in the morning.
And the cause of death.
Right, about that. Ota had a stab wound from a kitchen knife in his side.
Correct.
What was the exact cause of death? Was it the knife wound, or...?
I cannot determine that. I can conclude that the knife wound was at least close to being fatal. Even if Ota was still alive on the workbench, he was certainly on the verge of death. If he weren't already extremely weak, we would expect to see more signs of struggle.
Yeah, I bet, because, the shock of being stabbed, for example, which, well, let's just say I'm aware of that feeling, and the loss of blood can can really like just shut down the system. So depending on your if you're used to that or not, you might just wouldn't say pass out, but you get pretty close to it. And I bet that's what happened to Oda. He's not used to that type of physical trauma. So Iris and Oda were sliced in two by this ice cutting machine. Iris and Oda.
Iris's estimated time of death and cause of death have been confirmed. The video was not a recording. It was a live stream, filmed in real time.
Which means Iris's time of death is 3:20 a.m.
I'll give the game credit for actually showing you slicing through the character. Usually most games would like turn away at the last second or whatever, like it happens, but you never actually see it.
Iris also had her left eye removed.
Yeah.
And like Renju and Shoko, Iris's left eyeball has not been recovered.
Well, depending on which path you went on, the eyeball was stuffed into the next victim. But we don't know if that's the same moniker in this pathway or not. Maybe Oda was trying to help Iris, jumping at the criminal. That led to a scuffle, and Oda ended up with a knife wound in his side. He lost all his power to fight back. He was forcibly put into the costume and then finally cut open by the ice cutting machine.
But why? Why did the culprit put the costume on Ota?
Unknown. Date, we should get moving. Officers from the local jurisdiction are checking the warehouse thoroughly. We will not find anything of importance here.
Yeah, you're right.
You can ask CSI to inform you if they find anything.
Alright.
Yeah, unfortunately no superhero saving the day, situation for you, Oda. In this reality, that's not the case. Their bodies aren't here anymore. Right here, Iris and Oda were. Okay, thought they were going to be an evidence marker. A little marker that put track on evidence. Now, that's the same blood stain. Blood stain bears. That's what it is.
There are only a few items on the shelf.
Is this warehouse not in use?
Yeah. It's never been particularly cotty in my throat recently, but then again, I've been chunking all of these recordings back to back, trying to have quite a few big projects lined up, and I need for the real world, and I need a lot of free time. I need a lot of extra time, so I've got to pump a lot of these out, which I hate doing that because it means that some episodes seem kind of just wishy-washy, but that happens sometimes. The inspector is doing his duty as usual. Is this Oda's blood? Well, at least it's not Chris's blood. Yeah, I'm gonna keep making that joke. Shut up! Any clues?
No, nothing so far.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're not gonna do the joke about asking him about his name like every other second this time. Oh, it's the same way either way, so... Alright, I'm heading out. Let me know if you find anything. I let them know. They then left the warehouse. When I left the warehouse, I saw Pewter. What is he doing here? He walked up to me while I was trying to work it out.
Date, I have to talk to you about something.
Huh?
About the original Cyclops serial killings.
Why this all of a sudden?
Because I want you to solve this case, Mr. Date. I want you to find who did this and bring them to justice. So, if I can help you, even a little.
Why didn't you say anything at Abyss?
The boss was there. I couldn't speak openly in front of her. So, I decided to meet you here.
Alright. Let's hear it.
Earlier, I told you that I was completely certain the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes. I am absolutely certain the original Cyclops killer could not have committed these crimes.
Okay, he just tells us this to our face. We do not have to see the flashback of him saying the same thing. God damn it. Sorry.
Let me explain why. I'll start by telling you the identity of the Cyclops killer. Although, it's more accurate to say killers.
More than one?
In the first series of killings, the culprit had an accomplice. One of them was born a murderous psychopath. The other is Rohan Kumakura, the previous chairman of the Kumakuras. They each had a role to play. The murderer committed the homicide, and Rohan removed the eyeball.
I was actually really curious why they kept mentioning Rohan every time. Because a good story never mentions a character and that doesn't have a point to it. Like, you know, Rohan kept getting mentioned that he was the previous owner. Okay, why do we need to know that? You could just said the previous owner died a while back, you know, and that would have been it. So I knew he was going to have a point somewhere in one of these storylines. You know, just it was a point of like when was it going to pop up, you know. Or at least, what was it? What's the writing term for that where you don't write unnecessary things or something like that outside of... There's always a reason, like whether it be world building, whatever. So anyway, police officer. The police officer. They're police officers. We know that. Anyway. Wooden box. Stats containers. Oops. No, don't want to choke that thing. There's Peter right there. We see him. Peter looks grimly serious. Or seriously grim, I'm not sure. There's an oil drum. The crane. Hey boss, the crane! The crane! Okay, I think that might be... Nope. Oh, the warehouse is standing in the light. Bum, 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 bum. Small ones, big ones, some as big as your head, or something like that. Okay, we're done. Alright, we're done with looking around. Why did the Cyclops case get classified?
That... I don't know.
The details of the original Cyclops serial killings case have become nebulous over time. Even the official investigation material contains nothing of value. I am unable to draw any conclusions from them.
You really have no idea?
If I did, I would tell you.
Would you tell us, you know, in another pathway you... Ah, never mind. Who's the murder psychopath?
He was born with a brain dysfunction. Due to damage to the posterior pituitary gland, he was unable to properly secrete oxytocin.
Oxytocin is a peptide hormone linked to feelings of love, affection, and trust. It is colloquially referred to as the love hormone. It causes a tranquilizing effect which improves mood and relieves stress. It is normally secreted when the body makes contact with an object of affection, such as an embrace or caress.
I'm sure you know what this implies, but he was unable to feel love in the way that we do. However, he was able to experience a substitute. His brain was wired in such a way that allowed him to feel satisfaction through other means. Due to the unique idiosyncrasies of his brain, he was able to release large amounts of dopamine and endorphins by performing a certain action.
What was it?
Murder.
Dopamine is a hormone linked to the reward system of the brain. The pleasant feeling attained through accomplishment is dopamine. Endorphins are a kind of brain narcotic. They dull pain and create a feeling of happiness.
He got pleasure from killing people?
It's slightly more complicated than that. Killing people was the only way he could get pleasure. He was 12 when he took his first life. That enlightened him to the pleasure of murder, which he would do again and again.
Isn't it fascinating how the brain, just like the fact that that there's just a gland in our brain that says, hey, love, here's some love. You know, if you don't have that, you're screwed up, you know, because of either birth or DNA or genetics or whatever. You know, it's just kind of funny how love is a secretion of the brain, you know. Anyway. But yeah, I knew most of that stuff, though. The love hormone thing I was not as aware of as much. I knew of it, but I forgot like the name of it and everything. So it's kind of reminding me of a lot of things I learned in high school and college. Anyway, about Rohan.
18 years ago, Rohan took a woman's eye. She she was already dead, he put his finger into her eye socket and gouged it out. The reason why was simple. He was fascinated by women's eyes. Their beauty stimulated his greed and his desire to possess them. He needed to have them, to make them his own. Driven by this instinctive impulse, he took the woman's eye. From then on, he acquired a grotesque obsession with the eyes of dead women. He was very particular about his need that the eye belonged to a deceased woman. But even being the head of a Yakuza gang, there weren't too many opportunities for him to indulge. His deepest, darkest desire went unfulfilled for years. However, he soon met his ideal partner, the aforementioned psychopath. The Cyclops killer would commit the murder, and Rohan would take the eye. Thus, a mutually beneficial relationship was established. This was the origin of the Cyclops serial killings. At about the same time, you were assigned to Abyss.
Interesting timing, don't you think? Anyway, could you summarize that for me, Pewter, my boy?
The original Cyclops killer had an accomplice.
There were 2 Cyclops killers.
And one of them was the former chairman of the Kumakuras, Rohan Kumakura.
Rohan committed suicide by jumping to his death 1 year ago.
That means... Pewter, tell me this. One of the original killers is dead, I know that. But that means one remains. Who is he?
After his 4th murder, he was arrested by the police. They actually picked him up on other charges. But, in any case, he is currently serving a life sentence in Fuchu prison.
Fuchu prison?
Yes.
What's his name?
In prison, he doesn't have a name. He is simply called Number 89.
Number 89?
I know who killed Shogun Adami.
So, now you know why I said that. That the original Cyclops killer couldn't have committed these crimes. Because one is dead, and the other is behind bars. Neither of them had the opportunity.
Oh, and then we're just gonna leave him after him telling all this. Okay, thanks for that story. Bye. So number 89 was the killer, at least the original killer, at least on this pathway. Although I think that might be consistent. I forgot why he was in jail in the other path line, because they never told us on the Iris-centered path line that he was the killer. Just that he knew Hitomi and he did a crime. Maybe that was it. So anyway, let's go to the Matsuhita diner. Ooh, gotta tell the mom about what happened. Yeah, I don't envy policemen or army who have to tell like a grieving parent, whether it be a mother or whatever, that their son, daughter, whatever, got killed or whatever. The place was silent. It was so quiet I felt I could hear the floating dust. I stepped inside. I thought it was empty, but I saw a shadow in the corner of my eye. It was Mayumi. It was like watching a decaying old tree cling pathetically to the earth. Well, I'm gonna check, even though I doubt we're gonna have any comedic responses from these things, just because of the material. And I get at least the game knows when not to be jokey, I mean, I know there's points of levity, but at some point you just gotta go, okay, we gotta let things kind of run their course for now. So no comments about boobs or hitting people or word puns or stuff like that. I'm still checking just in case there isn't like some backhand comment about like just the situation at hand or something like that. Yeah, you can tell this path is like the super dreary path out of all of them, like almost no happy moments. Everyone's getting killed, people that would have lived because of some like weird silly circumstance have now died, yeah, old calendar. Yeah, we don't have any specific ties to Iris, and Mizuki's just stuck wherever she's at right now, so we're not having the whole, buddy cop situation going on. Okay. She's looking at a photograph in her hands. I'm sorry to interrupt. Ugh. Do you want to talk about it? Yeah, this is probably pointless at this point. About Oda.
This is your fault. I heard from the police. Because you didn't take care of Iris, my boy Ota got involved.
Date, I looked into the investigation report. Mayumi confirmed Ota's body early this morning.
I see.
I'm sorry. I want to be alone right now. Did you not hear me? I said leave!
Date, let's go. She is in no state to talk.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I didn't think we were going to get anything out of that. That seemed, yeah, we just got yelled at because she's in stages of grief right now. That's the one time I'll accept, them yelling at us or whatever, because they're distraught. All right, well, let's talk to Mizuki and tell her what happened to her friend. Well, friends, actually. Ugh, she lost all of her friends, too. Ouch. The Date residence. Or at least I assume we're here to talk to Mizuki. Mizuki is curled up on the sofa. She looks like a small animal frightened by a predator. Once again, we're going to check, but I know we're probably not going to have any comments about it. Oops, didn't mean to click that again. Audio equipment, that's the bed. There's a light fixture over there. Wanna knock on the door? Someone's knocking on the door. Someone's dinging a bell. I haven't listened to a Beatles song in forever that I've forgotten some of the words. I used to know them all by heart. That's what happens when you don't listen to, or don't hear the repetition of certain things over and over again for years. You slowly lose your cognition of every single word. Like, I remember the beats of most of the songs, but I don't know if I could sing the whole song, like, just straight up without having to look at it. Oh well. It's like with video game knowledge and other things. I kind of remember the gist of a lot of things, but I mean, I remember every single nitpicking, like, little detail. But I'll remember, like, how it begins, how it ends, and maybe scenes that might have been more memorable in the middle. Okay. Mizuki is staring at the floor. Whoops. About Oda. Yeah, everyone's super depressed. Oh boy. No happy-go-lucky fun times for this crew. Met Iris? Yeah. Looks like this is another dead end. Just because, About the warehouse, do you know anything about that? Yeah.
Mizuki must know. About Iris and Ota.
Of course. The news was distributed heavily across the internet. Not just in Japan, but worldwide. 3 days ago, Mizuki discovered her mother's body. 2 days ago, her father's. This morning, 2 of her best friends. It is completely understandable that she is at her mental limit.
Can I be left alone for a while?
Are you okay?
Yeah.
She certainly didn't seem so. But I can't stay by her side forever.
Aiba, contact Abyss. See if they can get Mizuki a good counselor.
Understood.
I stayed with her for a little while, but we didn't speak. Having nothing more to say, I left. Yeah, we're hitting a lot of, like, sad moments here. I did say I wanted the game to be a bit more serious at times, but I don't know if I wanted to get this serious. I wanted to get dangerous, but not serious. No. But, this is the problem with going, like, way too serious and then getting, When I visited the Sagan household, I found Hitomi with a hollow look in her eyes. Well, yeah, her daughter just died. She let me in and asked me to sit on the sofa. I agreed and sat down. But after that, I couldn't say a single word. The heavy silence weighed on us, both of us. And yeah, she lost her daughter, so, you know. And it's been a while since we've had to go to Iris's house just because of the focus on this path, you know, overall. The normal, well, I don't know if I'd say it's the normal path. The standard murder mystery path, if you want to call the one where we actually, you know, explore the murder. Like the other one, just all of a sudden we forgot about the murder, just focused on Iris all of a sudden. I was like, what the heck? I guess we call that the Iris path, or the, you know, the silly anime path, or whatever you want to call it, you know. This one's more like your standard mystery path. I prefer the standard mystery path if it's all the same to you viewers, but yeah, Western sentimentalities are different than Eastern sentimentalities when it comes to certain stories and things like that, so. Not that either one's better than the other, it's just that's how we're... And now we know who that uncle character is, that's 89, so. But I don't know if on the Iris path he's actually the murderer in that one. Although we did unlock that, finally unlock that locked path, so we could probably figure it out.
In the language of flowers, the iris means good news and hope. When I saw the flowers this morning, I just knew something good would happen.
Well, at least she died before a brain tumor took her
Iris.
out. If she had a brain tumor on this path. Like I said, I assume a lot of the stuff we learn from other paths can, for the most part, be added to these. It's just they just don't get brought up, that's all. You know, like Mayumi's dementia and stuff like that, so. Oops. No. Hitomi said, oh, what? But that's not the same sofa. Yeah, whatever. Steam. Coffee table, workbooks. I think that might be it. Maybe I should just really, if I don't get a response from the last couple, maybe I should just skip it. Just to make the episode flow better. Hitomi is composed. She's hiding her deep sorrow in her heart. She's gentle but strong. About Oda.
Oda was one of my students. I taught him in elementary school. I heard it from the police. Oda tried to help Iris and ended up... I don't know what to say. I have no words.
About Iris?
Iris was my everything. We always went everywhere together. Whether it was buying clothes, or going to the movies, or taking a walk, or going shopping at the supermarket. When she was young, she would just hold one of my fingers. Her hand was too small to hold mine. Then it was 2, then 3, and finally she could hold my hand. But eventually, she left my hands altogether. She started crossing her arms, being independent, even though she needed constant attention growing up.
Can you think of any information?
Hitomi, my entire focus is on this case. Is there anything at all you can tell me?
I don't know if this is important, but...
No, please, tell me.
I may have told you this already. I met Renju's wife Shoko twice before. The first time at the wedding, the second time a month ago. That second time was in the waiting room of the prison.
Prison?
There's an acquaintance of mine from when we were younger. I visit them a few times a year. And by coincidence, I saw Shoko. I don't think she noticed me, but I recognized her as Renju's wife right away. She was there for the same reason I was, to visit one of the inmates.
Do you know who?
No, I don't. We didn't talk.
Which prison?
Fuchu Prison, in Tokyo.
Fuchu.
Prison?
Interesting. That's where 89 is. Except we know... Oh, sorry. She looks like she's about to break. She's dignified and composed. But I can tell that she's so close to breaking, so close to crumbling away. like a flame slowly eating at the edges of paper before the whole thing catches fire. Sorry, I didn't mean to skip that. I thought it was going to repeat itself. Sue, she's sitting on the side of the couch. She must be hurting deeply. Sorry. Bad Iris. Again.
Her memories are a part of this room. And always will be. When she was a baby, she fell off that sofa and cried and cried. One day she tore up her picture book all over the floor here. Another time she drew with crayons all over the window. She painted my portrait on Mother's Day. Scratches on the floor, chipped plates, burn marks on the table, stains on the cushions. Everything you see. It all holds a memory of her. But why?
I'm sorry to have bothered you. I'll be going now.
I don't know what to do. Thinking about her. Date, please, you have to catch them. Please. Please.
I will. Trust me.
Are you okay, honey?
Huh?
About last night. Well, at 3 in the morning, anyway.
You know about it?
It's on every channel. You have the face of a ghost. Do you want a glass?
I don't need a drink. I need information. Do you have anything?
Well, let's see. I do have... I suppose you could call it intuition.
Tell me.
At least Mama can alleviate our dreariness for about a brief moment, at least from this current situation. Sometimes you need that, man. Otherwise, if it bombards you all the time, you'll act like you're living in Oregon or something like that. I've heard it rains there 90% of the year, and I heard it's dreary as all hell. But I've never actually lived there. I just heard the stories. Saint Sebastian. I assume we're not gonna get any comments from this stuff, but I can't help myself. I must click. It's like those point-click adventure games. Well, the newer ones, the ones that are basically item collector games. Pretty much, they're just lazy point-click adventure games. I feel anyway. Ooh, excuse me. Every once in a while I get the hiccups. It doesn't happen to me as often as it used to when I was a kid, but okay. All right, Mama. I need some info. Quit drawing that video. It's crazy. Information about the incident, please.
The Kumakuras are involved in this case. Remember what I told you before? That there's a relationship between Ren and the Kumakuras? Shoko also has a relationship with them. You know about her dealings with the Kumakuras, right?
So basically, 2 of the victims are linked to the Kumakuras. That must mean they're involved somehow, right?
Not 2, 3.
3? Iris?
No, not that one. The boy. He came here last night.
Ota?
Yes, from Matsushita Diner. He's linked to the Kumakuras as well.
By the loan, maybe, that they own on the diner?
Have you heard the rumor?
Mama told me a similar story to Aiba's about Sejima in the Kawasaki district. The basic idea is this. 8 years ago, So sold his land in Kabasaki district for 30 billion yen. Half a year later, an explosion at the chemical plant caused the land prices to drop drastically. So bought back the land for 1 billion yen. Almost like he knew beforehand that the accident would happen. So, did So blow it up, or conspire to blow it up? No, that wouldn't make sense. So wouldn't gain anything from that. He would end up with 29 billion in cash and 1 billion in land. It's a net zero. But there's more to the story. Bet So in the district? Mom is polishing the drive. Oops, sorry, forgot to press the wrong button.
The Kumakuras own a handful of real estate companies. They of course look legit, but they're Yakuza fronts. I'll call those real estate companies the KE to keep it simple for you. The KE followed in So's footsteps. They bought up land in Kabasaki.
I see.
Now, back to So. Have you heard of the plans for the casino in Kabasaki? So was the one who came up with it.
I was born and raised in Kabasaki. I remember the landscape of my childhood, and I loved it dearly. But look at Kabasaki now. When I see images of the destruction on television, my heart aches like it's being chopped to pieces. But I promise you, I will revive the Kabasaki district at any cost. Casino Town Kabasaki will give new life to the city.
After that, So moved fast. He submitted the bills he needed to the National Assembly after drumming up support in the right places. The bills passed, and it became an official government initiative.
Decontamination efforts therefore increased at a rapid pace in the Kabasaki district. At the moment, the area is still considered off-limits. However, the air in Kabasaki is currently purified to such an extent that it has no negative effect on the human body.
If the plan goes smoothly, land prices in Kabasaki are going to skyrocket. And all that land is owned by the KE. And by So himself. The land he bought back for 1 billion will be worth 10 times that soon.
He's involved in some shady business.
Like most politicians.
This is just another rumor, but the chemical plant exploding was no accident. It was done intentionally.
By So and the Kumakuras, you mean?
But there's no hard evidence of that. It's just gossip.
And gossip doesn't put people in jail. Well, internet jail.
What were we talking about again?
Ota and the Kumakuras.
Oh, right. You know how Matsushita Diner is close to the Kabasaki district? The chemical plant explosion made times hard. Foot traffic went down, sales declined. No wonder it closed down. Ota must hold a grudge. Someone caused that explosion. And if it was intentional, oh, he'd hate them even more. That's how I link Ota to the Kumakuras.
Well, at this point, that doesn't matter. He's dead, so... But I guess the point is that they're linked, but... seems a bit wishy-washy, really. Bye, Mama.
Thank you, Mama. I don't know if what you told me will lead to anything, but...
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to waste your time.
No, it was very helpful.
I'm glad I can help, even if it's just a little.
Well then, be seeing you.
Come back anytime.
Well then, looks like everything, we've checked everything, and we've been hit with some minor info, as well as some hard tales of 2 women having lost their children. One went to rage, and one went to the pure sadness, both legitimate in this way. But we've got to solve this case. So in the next episode of AI, the Somnium Files, we'll take the next step towards finding out what to do next. That's the best I got. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.